unless there's anything else, do you think we should get to the ranking?
I mean, the ranking's there. I know the context.
Well, we know the ranking already. So as a reminder, we have 5 categories of greatness: all-time greats, true greats, touch greatness, edge of greatness. 2, I mean, for me, there are 2 on show here. One is blinkered greats, and one is not. It's our bonus category, not necessarily great, but without them, we wouldn't be where we are today. Any team for whom the highlight is beating Hamburg feels like that is blinkered greats for a start. That is
former European Cup champions, Hamburg.
Yeah, decent side, but it's not.
City in Germany.
Yeah, and they had, obviously they did beat Bayern Munich and bits and pieces, but they feel probably blinkered greats. I think it's difficult to think of. I mean, it's difficult because we're not narrowing down to a specific team. But even within that, it would be difficult to go beyond that unless we think that other slightly rogue category is a better fit.
Let me try to convince you to move them up a bracket to edge of greatness. So they win nothing, generally, but they have guiding principles and they have morals. And they have this in the game where it goes against the grain. And there's a lot of focus on success and there's a lot of focus on commercial activities. And whilst we see in the English game the political nods of increasing awareness of inclusivity, St. Pauli have been doing this since the late 1980s. They've been anti-fascist, they've been anti-homophobic, they've been anti-sexism, they've been anti-racism for a long period of time. Now the rest of the world is slowly trying to catch up, and we see it with the Premier League with rainbow laces, players taking the knee. That happens in dispatches that creates and kind of raises awareness about very important issues going on in the wider context beyond football. What St. Pauli are, they are more than a football team. They're a force of nature, and they intertwine politics and football incredibly well, and they embrace the two. And the two have always been linked together from the very beginnings of football. And we've done this with a number of teams where politics has been a big thing. If you think back about why do we do a minute silence in the UK every November, it's because we are raising awareness of the atrocities that happened in wars gone by. Now, wars are all political, as we know. Football is political. So what St. Pauli are doing is something that is going against the grain of football. What they're doing is something that is a conscious decision they've been doing for some time. And to have moral guidelines on the club's website to kind of state who they are and what they are, I think is quite brave. And I think this is how I'd like to see football. I'm talking to a lower league fan. And this is how I like to see football progressing in the future. But I don't think it's going to happen. So I think they are pushing us to the edge of greatness in the temptation of going into the touch of greatness of football being totally inclusive and all clubs embracing the guidelines of St. Pauli. For me, it's edge of greatness.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I can see where you're going with that. Do you know, I think it feels more like you have made me rethink fractionally, and I'm not going into the one-eyed view, one-eyed supporter view. I think it's when we think about some of the teams that we put in that bonus category of not necessarily great, but without them we wouldn't be where we are today. They're usually trailblazers. Yeah, so that category definitely has
so I can help
clubs
you
in there that have achieved, while they themselves don't necessarily have the results and the honours that go with it. They go and deliver stuff that becomes the norm elsewhere.
So let me try to help you with that. I like the fact we're having a debate about ranking, actually. We don't do that often. Not great. Maybe we should do this more often. In our not great, which is our category 6, which sits out our boundary of our top 5 candidates, we have got FC Liège. Now, FC Liège were responsible for stopping Jean-Marc Bosman from moving clubs, and that invoked the Bosman ruling. So without them, we wouldn't be where we are today. FC Start, they were the team that organised themselves in a bakery and fought against the Nazis and won. The brilliant Rochester Lancers. Michael Lewis talked us through this fantastic NASL team that only existed for a short period of time. And then we've got in that bracket Thames Valley Royals, a football team that never even existed. I feel, and I totally agree with you saying, I think you're right, but I still think St. Pauli's greatness is bigger than those football teams in that particular bracket. And I think Blinkered Greats disrespects what St. Pauli are trying to achieve. Edge, for me, complements what they're trying to do.
Blinkered Greats all day long, surely. Blinkered Greats all day long. Yes, team occasionally goes up into the top league. No time zone necessary. Blinkered Greats.